morning. You join me in such a delightful location, crossing the A1M or A167M or whatever. At this most disgusting of places. Okay, that building's quite pretty. Coming to here, Manners Station. Let's go on a little line that managed to reopen in December, and so further extended my obligations for my quest to go on every passenger rail line in Great Britain. But this time I'm actually going to succeed. Wait, is it? Yes, this way. I'm actually going to succeed at the task for real. Not like get so far and just be like, actually, there's ones I haven't done. I will succeed unless something terrible happens in Fife on Monday. I will succeed. It's nice to see they've done something to sort of brighten up the place. So I made it here to Manor Station. This is probably the most bloody dud station I've been to. There's more going on at teeny weeny stations on the side of a hill in the middle of Wales, like 100 miles from any person. Yet we're on the eastern edge of the city centre. It's just over there. And this place is... I haven't noticed my popularity. It looked like it'd just been in a war zone, and you had to use it to shift like all the ammunition. Anyway, that is my train coming up there to Ashington. No one is on board. So I made it to Ashington. there's a big difference between how they do stations up here and down in London. This station, it's got a ticket machine, a little shelter. This is all brand new in the age of like sustainable development, and it's just sort of a platform with the basic amenities. But they didn't forget to put in a ginormous car park. It kind of really shows you that direction that only London's managed to reverse in. It's all very car-y here. So all these broken rails here, and they go right through the middle of this woodland. These, well, used to be a rail line. I am walking along what was the rail line that connected Ashington and Morpeth. Just north of the station in Ashington, there is a junction where the existing freight line goes east to the power station, and this little thing continues north. Well, continued north, but no more, and it's now a country park. Although me being me, I would consider reopening it so that there can be trains from Ashington to Morpeth. So I am back at Ashington. Train's just arrived, it doesn't go back for another 10 minutes. And it's nice to see, I mean, it is a car park, but it's nice to see it's filled up, and there are quite a lot of people now getting on the train. The platform is getting quite busy. I was having to walk around the town and wow. So a little story time. I used to work for the company that built this station and won the contract to build the stations and surrounding civils for this project. The signalling and track works were done by other people, and so I went on a little trip to this rail line whilst it was under construction in 2023. And I remember coming to this town, we were driving around with my colleague, and she kind of said, yeah, it's a very sort of, it's very much a backwater, it's very deprived. I walked around, and coming from quite a wealthy place in the south, it felt very, very alien. I stumbled across the enigma of Heron Foods, which doesn't exist like south of Stoke. There are people around. Yeah, and she said that they nicknamed their town Afghanistan because they felt it looked so deserted and dilapidated that the local people, and I also had a colleague from the northeast, she kind of said going on a train to London, some of the towns around here is like a really big, daunting thing, and not many people do it. They just kind of get in a lull of living in this town. I'm not really the person to speak on this, it's just from what I've heard. But it feels alien to what I know, and it's in the same country, other side of the country, but it's such a different.
So, more in detail, my thoughts of the line looking further down. I think service, a 2 trains an hour service is brilliant. But for the size of the towns, like, as I said, like Ashington 30,000 and then Blythe has even more. I definitely don't think it's enough. And the trains that I was getting on, they were all busy. And as I said, the stations were all so bland. It just felt like, oh, we just need to get the rail connectivity there. There was no real detailed thought put in to making this a good service. And whilst it is fare integrated with the pop card, that's it. There isn't any United, like Newcastle or Tyne Wear branding like they have with the buses, Metro and Ferry. I think what would have been really good and what was a really missed opportunity, not just that they didn't double track and electrify the line or extend it onto Newbiggin and Lynmouth, it's now just a terminal platform in Ashington, which means if they do extend it, it'll be more expensive than just doing it outright here and now. I think the biggest missed opportunity was creating branding for like an S-train system in Newcastle and say electrifying a little further out to Blaydon and having that be line 1 and then opening some new stations between Durham, Newcastle and Morpeth and that being line 2. And like this rail opening being a big thing for further public transport integration for the wider Newcastle and Tyne Wear area.
So here in Leven, in Fife in Scotland, I finally achieved it. I have now been on every single passenger railway line in Great Britain. This will of course with time change as the Camp Hill and East West rail lines open, but for now, as of, what was it, like 1:10 on Monday the 3rd of February, I have now done it! And I'm very proud of myself. I unfortunately didn't film any of the line coming up here, and by the time I go back up, it'll be dark, so that's a shame. But it was a very pretty line, and they've done a good job of rebuilding it. This is looking very nice and fresh. This is a really nice station. Although, as usual, all those cars, massive ass car park, it's kind of very road orientated. Although, one thing I didn't see in Ashington, they have a bike shed. Not as impressive as the Bark and Riverside one, but it's a start. And there's bike paths outside the station, something else I didn't see in Ashington. Brilliant to see more rail lines reopening in my country. Although, it does mean that this goal is ongoing. Although for now, I've made it 7 years after deciding I was gonna eventually do this. With a pandemic to throw a spanner in the works in the middle, I've now done it. I don't think I should take up another challenge like this.
So Leavenworth, again, I have thoughts. The construction is fantastic. However, I think there's one bit of construction they missed out on, and it's not electrification because that's coming. It's a spur so that trains can leave the branch and head north. Currently, there is just one train an hour, which, despite not being enough for a town of around the same size as Ashington, my train was so quiet, it seems like nobody really cares about this new line. And I think the reason why is not in frequency, but lack of connectivity. The train just goes to Edinburgh, and it's every stop to Edinburgh. It's only like 12, but still, it's not good. And it's just this whole idea of, oh, all these places across the Midlands where you can easily get a train to London, but not to other towns in the East Midlands. It seems like they just wanted to connect, like just, oh, this town just needs a train station. It's the largest town in the country without a train station. You just got to open one, and then we can extend the train from Edinburgh, without thinking, Leavenworth and Fife, build it so you can connect up with as many towns in Fife as possible. And you can easily extend the Glenrothes train to Leavenworth, and that would connect it with Glenrothes and Dunfermline, the two biggest towns in Fife. And if you had a spur to go north, you could connect it with Dundee and Perth. And I think it was just such a missed opportunity, and it kind of dampens this railway reopening effort. But it's still great that it happened, and you could easily fit it in the future. I just really hope they do, and I hope that electrification brings an increase in service and patronage, and that maybe they'll feel emboldened to.